Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open a case file on one of the biggest mysteries in our cosmic neighborhood. We're on the hunt for a ghost in our own solar system.
So let's just dive right in with a question that honestly sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's a very real, very active hunt in modern astronomy. Could there be a massive, undiscovered world lurking out there in the darkness beyond Neptune?
You know, our story really begins way out there, in the freezing, dark fringes of our solar system. For a long time, we kind of just assumed that the most distant objects orbiting our sun were all moving randomly, scattered like marbles dropped on a floor. But then, as astronomers looked closer, they saw something very, very strange. A few of these objects were following orbits that were just bizarrely aligned, all pointing in the same direction, almost as if they were being guided by some kind of invisible hand.
And this, right here, this is our cosmic crime scene. It's a collection of gravitational clues that, for a lot of astronomers, just don't add up. Not without a prime suspect, anyway. These clues are coming from the flight paths of these small, icy bodies called Trans-Neptunian Objects, or TNOs for short. You can think of them as our key witnesses, ancient, frozen worlds that circle the sun way, way beyond Neptune's orbit. And boy, are their movements telling us a story. So back in 2016, astronomers noticed something wild. The orbits of the 6 most distant TNOs they knew of weren't random at all. They were clustered, with their closest point to the sun all happening in one little slice of the solar system. I mean, imagine finding 6 spinning tops that are all leaning in the exact same direction. It just shouldn't happen like that.
And statistically, this is where the mystery really goes off the charts. The odds of this kind of clustering happening just by pure chance? Incredibly small. We're talking about 0.007%. That's the kind of number that makes scientists sit up straight and say, okay, something else has to be going on here. This whole gravitational puzzle led 2 Caltech astronomers, Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown, to go public with a really bold hypothesis back in 2016. They pointed to a prime suspect, one responsible for shepherding these TNOs. They figured its immense gravity, working over millions of years, would act like a cosmic sheepdog, gently nudging these distant objects into a clustered flock. And they gave this unseen world a nickname, Planet 9.
Now, the idea of a hunt for a 9th planet isn't exactly new. The original search for a Planet X was all about these supposed wobbles in Uranus's orbit. Wobbles that, well, they turned out to just be measurement errors. That whole search did lead to finding Pluto, but Pluto was way too tiny to be what they were looking for. This modern search is totally different. It's based on the gravitational echo of a planet we can't see, not a direct push on the planets we can.
So what would this suspect even be like? Well, the latest models paint a picture of a super-Earth, a world maybe 4.5 times the mass of our own. Its orbit would be so enormous it would take something like 5,000 years to go around the sun just once. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some weird hypothetical giant, it's actually the most common type of planet out there in the galaxy. Finding one here would solve a major puzzle, why our solar system seemed to be missing one.
So, with a profile of the suspect in hand, astronomers kicked off what you could pretty much call a galactic manhunt, using our most powerful eyes on the sky to finally find this hidden world.
The search is absolutely on. The Subaru telescope in Hawaii is scanning the most likely parts of the sky where Planet 9 might be hiding. But our best hope yet is probably the upcoming Rubin Observatory in Chile. Starting in 2025, it's going to spend 10 years mapping the entire southern sky. That survey could finally reveal the planet, or it could give us more TNOs that either prove or debunk the whole idea.
I mean, the scale of this search is just immense. There is so much data coming in from missions like NASA's WISE telescope that professional astronomers can't possibly sift through it all themselves, which is why they've actually asked for our help. Through a citizen science project called Backyard Worlds, literally anyone can join the hunt and look for moving objects in real telescope images.
But, even with all this excitement, the people who came up with the theory are the first to tell everyone to be cautious. As Konstantin Batygin himself said, all of this evidence is still circumstantial. They've heard an echo, a gravitational whisper, but until this planet is actually seen on camera, it really does remain a ghost.
So what if the clues are misleading? What if that echo isn't a planet at all? I mean, in any good detective story, you've always got to consider the alternative theories, right? The main counterargument is that there actually is no hidden planet. Skeptics suggest the clustering is just something called observational bias. Because it's way easier to find these faint little objects in certain parts of the sky at certain times of the year, we've naturally found a group that just looks clustered. They argue that as we find more and more of them, this pattern is just going to disappear.
And then there's another theory. It suggests that it's not one big object causing this gravitational pull, but the combined gravity of thousands of smaller objects. You have to imagine a huge, undiscovered disk of icy debris just sitting out there. Some models show that this could create the very same shepherding effect that looks just like a single large planet.
So where does all of this leave us today? Well, the case for Planet 9 is compelling for sure, but it is very, very much an unsolved mystery. But despite all those counter-arguments, many astronomers, especially the team that first proposed it, they remain pretty confident. They point out that as more of these distant objects have been discovered, the statistical weirdness of the clustering has actually held up. For them, the Planet 9 hypothesis is still the simplest, most complete explanation for all the strange gravitational signatures that we're seeing out there.
So, the investigation is more active than ever. Every new TNO that gets discovered acts like another piece of evidence, helping astronomers tweak their models and narrow down the search area in the night sky. And with powerful new observatories about to come online, we might be closer than we have ever been to getting a definitive answer, one way or another.
And that just leaves us with this final, fascinating thought. This whole search isn't just about adding one more planet to the list. It's a really profound reminder of how much we still don't know about our own cosmic backyard. I mean, if a world possibly 5 times the mass of Earth can hide from us for this long, what else is out there, just waiting to be found? The hunt continues.